joined today by Managing Director of NickelX Limited, Matt Gauci, and Tony Donaghy, Exploration Manager. Guys, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Thanks, David.
Firstly, let's start with an overview of the nickel market. Matt, you obviously keep a close eye on it. There has been a lot of news and a lot of movement in the nickel market in recent times. Can you explain the nickel market and what you're seeing?
Yeah, look, I mean, nickel's traditional market is the stainless steel market, and that stainless steel market is absolutely booming through Asia, North America, Europe, on the basis of stimulus post-COVID to ensure economies are up and running. And the demand profile from the stainless steel market is as good as it's probably ever been. And then, of course, the emerging market with EVs and lithium-ion batteries, where we know that nickel is the real workhorse of the lithium-ion batteries, has really kicked in another gear of demand for nickel. There's been some supply shocks across the world in Russia and North America, and so clearly when there's demand soaring and supply constrained, there's always going to be disequilibrium in the market and appreciation in the price, of which is now pushing $20,000 a tonne, and we know that city analysts are as good as you can get at forecasting $20,000 a tonne nickel through, particularly this year, possibly even next year. And even BHP, who are generally pretty conservative, have always come out and said they see 5% compound annual growth rate up to 2030 within the overall market, but 20% compound annual growth rate for nickel in EVs. So huge demand, great time to be exploring and you know, touch wood, make some discoveries and build a WA focused nickel company.
And talking of exploration, we do have Tony on site east of Kalgoorlie in Western Australia, where NickelX has just commenced its maiden drill program. Tony, can you talk us about the drill program and what you're looking to achieve?
Yes, we've had the geophysical crews out. We've proved up and confirmed some conductors, particularly Fire Dragon East area, which is now designated the FD1 target, a much improved conductor there. But also Silver Dragon, historical conductor in that area, FD2 and FD4 off to the north of us here. So we have a lot of targets to hit, and we're going to hit the ground running and start drilling them and get into them now.
As you say, a lot of targets to hit, and exploration really does drive shareholder value. Drilling has commenced at Fire Dragon. What does this program look like?
Well, initially, between Fire Dragon and the FD1 target, we have 6 drill holes planned in that area. The overall program, we're looking at roughly around 3,200 metres of drilling to hit all the targets that we have in the program. But in that particular area, that looks very interesting because we have the historical conductors. At FD1, we had an historical conductor that we dramatically increased the dimension of as well. So we have 4 holes planned in that program, targeting that particular conductor. And at Fire Dragon, we have the historic intersection in the RC drilling that was done previously of nickel-bearing massive sulfide intersections. So relatively narrow intersection, but still that proves that the system is working. The juice is there. Now we just need to find the fire.
You're talking about conductors. In layman's term, what is a conductor and why is it so important?
Nickel sulfide ore bodies are essentially superconductors. So when we do geophysical surveys, we put loops out on the ground. We induce a current into that loop with the transmitter, and then when they switch the transmitter off, the receiver then receives any currents that have been induced in the conductors in the ground. And as we say, nickel sulfide ore bodies are essentially superconductors. They really very well induced currents in them when they're there. And so to have conductors sitting in an area where we know we've got the right rock types and we know that we have previous intersection nickel sulfide, it's highly encouraging.
And in terms of the program that is currently underway, what's the expectation in terms of timeline to drill the program and then to start seeing results?
It's a ever-moving feast, of course. We have some idea from previous drilling and what drilling conditions are going to be and what expected metal juice we have per day. But until we get that first drill hole in the ground, we're not really going to know what the drilling conditions are like to be able to make accurate predictions. But I would be surprised if within, say, 2 weeks, we haven't got 1 or 2 holes under our belt and had some news out of those for sure.
And when you're talking massive sulfides, is there a visible proof that gives you encouragement before you get the assays that things are going in the right direction?
Certainly, in nickel sulfide deposits, you have three minerals essentially that forms a nickel sulfide deposit. You have pyrrhotite, which is the base iron sulfide, which forms most of the system. Then you have chalcopyrite, which is the copper sulfide, very distinctive, and pentlandite, which is quite distinctive. And for those of us that have worked in nickel, which myself and the other geo that's going to be out here on the program has, you get your eye and you know what you're looking at. And certainly with the case of Nova here in the Albany Fraser, the pentlandite crystals that they had in their mineralisation there were very distinctive. So we should have a fairly good visible guess whether we're into the, or estimate I should say, whether we're into the good sulfides, and then it'll just be a matter of proving it up with the assay afterwards. But also we can have portable XRF results just to demonstrate that the nickel is there. But the thing with portable XRF is you're only getting a small window snapshot of the overall intersection, and that can be a tad misleading in either direction, either under or over estimates. So the assay will be the key.
And what excites you about the drilling program underway at the moment?
Well, we're in an area where there's very good targets, got the right rocks. We know that there's sulfide here, and turning up to the drill 5 o'clock in the morning every morning for the pre-shift meeting, get the action underway, and then get those rods spinning. And as soon as the drill water starts to run black, you're in sulfide, and then see what the core brings out. It's the thrill of the hunt.
And in terms of work you've done yourself in nickel and nickel sulfides, for you as an exploration geologist, is this project one you can't wait to get your teeth into?
Oh, certainly. The background work that's been done with previous exploration here has laid the foundation, and we've been able to come in essentially and cherry pick the best targets to hit first. And like I said, to have conductive material associated with the right rocks, associated with known sulfide, the system is working and producing sulfide in the right rock. Now we'll just see if these conductors are going to bear out.
So Matt, back to you to close. From a news flow perspective, what should investors be looking at over the coming weeks and months from the company?
Yeah, so look, the next couple of months is going to be really busy. Clearly, we've got this initial program, which we'll have the guys on site eyeing the drill core to ascertain exactly what's coming out of Fire Dragon, FD1, FD2 and 4. And then clearly we've got a contract with the driller to expand that program. It's an iterative process, as you'd be aware, at Fire Dragon, but also to test two other targets, which we're really excited about. The Silver Dragon target has this enormous magnetic eye feature, which is not too dissimilar to the type of eye feature that was found at Nova Bollinger, and that's going to be a target that we're really excited to test, a nickel copper target. And then we've got this really exciting gold trend along from Tropicana, one of obviously WA's greatest gold discoveries, only 10 kilometres away, and there's a 9 by 3 kilometre gold in soil anomaly that the guys will have some time to go out and check out, do some field work, and we're lining up an IP survey and diamond drilling program on that Black Dragon gold target as well. So there's multiple programs ongoing. We've always said in our prospectus and all of our announcements that we do have a unique prospectivity database for nickel copper in WA, and evaluating opportunities in the Leinster nickel belt, which is now clearly the epicenter of WA nickel, given BHP are ramping up Honeymoon Well, and western areas are purely focused on Cosmos now. So we really like that belt. Clearly looking at the southwest Yilgarn, which is pretty hot given the Julimar discovery and various other bits and pieces. So it's going to be really busy and primarily just drilling and business development. So clearly we've got only been listed for 8 weeks or so, and got $6 or $7 million in the bank, and we're committed to backing our exploration and business development teams to implement the programs we set out to do.
A clear strategy, a consistent news flow, but most importantly, drill rigs spinning and results to come in the very near future. Tony, Matt, thanks for your time.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, Dave. Excellent.